It's my favourite day of the week. It's Froggy Friday, and I found this pendant. Let's go play. Hello and welcome to NerdGoblinart. I'm Lula. Yes, that's me. I'm the hands. Hello. And we're going to be making a froggy using this Xenamorph. Facehugger. That's not a facehugger, that's the Xenamorph. But still, this is a Mother's Day special edition. In the UK, it's Mothering Sunday, this coming Sunday. I'm using Apex resin, and here is a discount code, NERDGOBLIN15, but don't worry if you can't note it down. It's in the description box below. So I'm going to pop in a little bit of Diamond Frost. It's one of my favourite glitters, and that'll be in the description box also. So I've already mixed up this resin, which, as I said, is from Apex resin, and we're going to be putting in a this basically clear with a little bit of glitter. We're going to be doing this pour in two parts because I want us to be able to see the Xenamorph nice and clearly. So I decided just add a little bit of glitter. Reason being, Mr. Goblin said I wasn't allowed to use glitter because it's a Xenamorph. So I'm like, well, the joke's on you. I'm pouring glitter in there because it's like space. So there, and stars are like glittery and sparkly. So, I sprayed some isopropyl alcohol in the mould because I've not put anything in, and I'm happy not putting eyes into this froggy this week because of the colours that I have planned to go for. I've used a mixer, more on that on Monday in the next video that I upload. And I didn't feel the need at all, you know, even with pouring the this clearer layer, I really didn't feel the need to have to mess about with the debubbler. And as you know, I have pussycats, and yeah, it just appears from nowhere. Lisa. Dear me. And the cats have been going a bit cray-cray because we've got some new resident blue tits, and they've taken up residence in a little birdhouse that's been attached to the side of my house for over 20 years now, and they decided to living there, and we've, you know, cats have been a bit cray-cray. So I've just sprayed this it's actually a pendant, and I bought it for Mr. Goblin a long time ago, and he doesn't really wear pendants or anything as that. He's had it hanging off a shelf on his side of the studio, and I was looking at it today and I was like, can I have it? And he's like, no, I really love it. But you can love it in a frog. And I bought him a lovely one on a key ring for Christmas. And he's got a really cool paintings and stuff like that around the house. Not just by me, of course, I painted him a Xenamorph, but we've got like really cool fan art and stuff about the house with Xenamorphs because it is one of his favourites. So I got my way. I snipped off there was a hook on there for obviously being a pendant. I snipped that off and I filed it down a little bit. And what I find with putting things into moulds is pre-spraying them with some isopropyl alcohol and putting a little bit of the resin on them first, or even dipping them in. But you saw me drizzle it on. So that's the first part of this mould. I'm not going to be doing anything else with it at this point. So I want to try out some of the glow in the dark. Excuse the pussycat. What's the matter? I've not actually used these before. I will put them in the description box. I can't remember what brand they are, but I will pop it in the description box. And if I remember, I'll put it on the screen as well. But I'm just going to put them into a few moulds. I would just want to have a play. We'll be using this one as well. This particular, I forgot what it's called. Pigment powder. Oh my goodness. There we go. Sorry, I've been put off my stride by Mr. Bilbo Baggins, my cat, having a little moan. Oh dear. So I'm going to be putting the extra resin into some of the Froggy moulds. And it's just a little bit of fun this week. I've been doing a few more intense projects in the last week or so. So I thought we'd go for something a little bit more simple this week. And something that maybe you'd like to try out yourself. Things like pendants and stickers are absolutely awesome for putting in moulds and for having a play, and certainly if you're new to resin as well. It's a nice simple way to introduce yourself to resin. If you've been doing pours but not adding anything in, less is more sometimes, and just doing like the singular thing, like just one pendant, it's fun and it's not too difficult, and you start learning about how bubbles behave with items put into the resin. So I'm going to be leaving that Froggo to cure up, and I am going to be using my heat mat. I do use several heat mats in the studio because I'm just too impatient to be waiting, and I like to have a lot going on at once. I'm using the Isotoyo heat mat at the moment. It's a really nice one actually. It's I bought it myself. They've not sponsored or sent me one, but the one I'm using in particular, I will pop that down in the description box, only because I've been using it for months now and it's still doing good and it's still working really well, especially that it comes with a tent. I call it a tent, it's a cover, but that helps with the curing process as well. So I'm using the bullfrog mould, and I'm also going to pour the two little froggies as well. And of course, if you've been watching for a while now, you know that these little froggy moulds are matte moulds. It's up to it's up to you once you've poured these moulds, if you happen to get them, if you give them either a varnish to give it a nice finish, or if you give it a UV covering. It will bring out the colours a lot more. So, just bear that in mind when you pour this mould, because I think a lot of us that have ordered the little mini frogs from Temu were all surprised when we all unmoulded them for the first time, and they are actually matte. They really don't look like it, but they are. So there you go. There is I am considering making a little mould of a mould that I have glossed so that I can have my own glossy mould basically, but that'll be in a couple of weeks. Silicone rubber isn't cheap, so there we go. So you saw me using the silicone tool there. These are actually silicone spatulas, and they're used, they're basically aimed at like I can't say it now, cosmetology, I don't do makeup. Words are hard. Words are really, really hard. Oh dear. So I thought it was a good opportunity as well to mix some of this glow in the dark with a mica powder. So I've gone with one of the lighter ones, which kind of matches the glow-in-the-dark tone really well, actually. I just wanted to see if mixing in the glow-in-the-dark with a mica powder would still give me a glow at the end. So just thought it was a nice opportunity to give it a try, because the set of the glow-in-the-dark, I actually bought them probably around Halloween last year. 2024, so not that long ago really, but I never actually ended up using them because I was busy playing with neons from Let's Resin. So I've not actually had a play with them, and they come in a set. There's quite a few different glow-in-the-darks, so you know, why not give it just a try to see what it is going to look like. It's important to know as well that with these little moulds, pour in so much and then tease the resin up into his little feet. It can be a bit tricky. If I'm on it, it can be a bit of a pain. And always making sure, because with the Froggy molds, you're always going to get your bubbles are always going to try and sit underneath his chin. So just by getting your silicone tool and going up around the edge of the under of his neck, it will help scoop out any of those bubbles, you know, and using your isopropyl alcohol and stuff. So this has cured, well, the first layer of the Froggy with the alien inside. And if you recall, recently I made a video on creating some paste, my own pigment paste, and I made some using the Let's Resin neons because they are very clumpy and gritty, and I used my pestle and mortar that the lovely Tina sent me from my wish list, which was really cool, and it's an awesome little thing to have in your stash. So with it being a Xenamorph and like the acid type thing, we're gonna go with green, and I did that a lot with the recent make that myself and Mr. Goblin did with the Xeno duck. So stirring that in, making a pigment is not hard at all. If I can do it, anybody can. But check out that video. It is in my listings, if you fancy having a go yourself. But it really helps, and it was that simple. When you're adding the Let's Resin neons to your resin, it is so clumsy, and you do end up introducing a million bubbles because of that, and because of the fact it's so clumpy and gritty. So that's taken that away. So this is the other pigment paste that I made out of the Mould Mould company, not mould as in a mould. They sent me a lovely resin coaster kit recently, which I tried out and showed on the channel. And I loved the green so much that I thought, well, I'll make a bit of pigment paste out of that just to try it. Always make sure that you do give them a little stir as well. And I also had glitter pre-mixed into this as well. So I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to the yellow glow-in-the-dark as well. So with the greener one on the left, which I'm stirring at the moment, I didn't want it opaque because I'm going to add in this green glow-in-the-dark pigment powder. As you know, we used it earlier on those on the bullfrog and the little froggies, and I've also got the lime. I want to call it lemon, but the bottle says lime. But I'm going to be putting that one because the colour match to the to that neon yellow is great. And Bilbo Baggins is back again with his mowing. So making sure that that is mixed in nicely. I've got to be fair, the powder, this glow in the dark powder, is actually quite fine. And it stirs in quite nicely. I was a little bit concerned that it was going to be like the neon powders, but thankfully it's not too bad at all. And keeping the pigment pastes more opaque, you know, more or less opaque, sorry, I think that was a good call in regards to this glow, for the allowing a glow effect, because the resin with the alien charm, I'm going to call it a charm because he's charming, because that is cured, I'm happy to spray with some isopropyl alcohol. This cat is he's you know, basically pretty quiet all day long. And I've come up to bed and he's like, "Meow, where have you gone, meow?" And I'm like, "I'm in here." And he's like, "No, I can't find you, meow." Oh, pussycats. So I'm also going to put in number 6 from the Into Resin Non-Sync Glitter. It's a lovely yellow one. I will bring it back up to this. There you go. I've not really used it much, but it is like a limey typey yellow, which is kind of perfect for this mix. I'm going to be waiting to see if Mr. Goblin says anything or notices that there's glitter within this make. So there we go. Poured that in, and I wanted to do it together, and because there are mica powders in there, I don't think there's going to be a great deal of them mixing into each other too much, but you know, it's fine. It reminds me of a Twister lolly. If you're in the UK, I love a Twister. But that's what the colours remind me of. So there we go. We've got forest green here, and I decided that on the feet, I kind of wish that I had coloured, you know, burnished in some mica powder into his feet. Then it became an afterthought. I thought about it at first, then I forgot about it, because this is the way my brain works. And then I've, you know, poured in this red, and I'm like, I forgot about his feet. So I thought, you know what, let's just put a slightly darker colour into his feet. It won't mix too much. And I figured I'd just add it to that luminous lime and neon colour that we had. It's not going to mix in too much, and it's kind of cool, I think, as well, to have a contrast of a darker colour, you know, right in the bottom of the frog as well, which might help that, you know, when the frog is glowing, with that xenomorph in the tummy of the frog, I think it's just going to help it. I think it's going to help it look more eerie and a bit more cool. So that's what I'm going to go with. So there. And because a bit of it dripped in, I just stirred it in a little bit to give it a wisp. So that's absolutely fine, and I'm happy with that. The 1 foot seemed to be on this mold, seemed to be drooping the tiniest bit. So I just put that there. So this is the same day, but it's in the evening. I wanted to unmold these when it's dark so that we can take a look at the glow we're gonna get. So this one is the glow in the dark that was mixed with the mica powder, and this is just purely glow in the dark mixed in. They've come out really nicely, actually. I don't know what happens to the to the colours in the ends of the toes. It just seems to disappear in that particular mould. So here's our little bully frog. He's bright, isn't he? It's really bright. And they'll get a charge up with the UV lamp as well. Those little bits are going in my pot. So I always say, and I do apologise if you've heard it all before, but you know, there are new subscribers and there are new people that are new to resin. With this frog mould, the easiest way I have found to get him out without too much trouble and jamming your fingers and cutting your fingers is to release all the toes first and loosen under the neck and around the sides. Then, as I do now, hips out just like that, and then the head comes away because you've already loosened the feet and everything, and it comes out really easily. Oh my goodness, it's gonna look awesome, isn't it? We know it's gonna look awesome because it's a Xenamorph. And ta-da! No bubbles, no bubbles, no troubles. We got no bubbles. I'm so pleased. I was a little bit I was a bit dubious that it might have a bit of a bubble, but he does not, and it looks awesome in there. And Mr. Goblin can put up with him living on his desk since he never wore it anyway. So I didn't put any eyes into the frog, and I'm quite happy because of the colour. I like the colour of the glow and I don't want to take that away. So I'm just using my metallic marker from J Diction just to put a simple line for a froggo just across the eyes, and I'm happy with that. I don't think it needs any more fuss, because if I do colour them in, it's gonna darken it. I don't have glow in the dark colouring pens. I think they might be a thing, I'm not entirely sure, but there you go. But on this froggo, I am happy to colour in his eyes like completely in a bit of black using my black Posca pen. I did go over a little bit slightly, and I've just put in some isopropyl alcohol on my silicone mat and just a micro brush just to tidy that up a little bit because it bothers me. And I'm also going to use a little bit of a white Posca. I pumped that onto a mat next to me and just use a micro brush because I realised that that pen's way too big to fit into that little eye. So micro brush again, just dipped in, and a little tiny little drop into his eye just to give him a tiny little reflection. Oh my goodness. So there they go. A simple one this week, but a fun one. Mr. Goblin is really pleased with that froggo, and you know he loves that little charm, but it's just been hanging there, so it's really cool to have it in a frog. So there you go. I'm pretty sure I can probably find them on somewhere like Temu. So I'm just getting my lamp out to give these guys a charge. It helps with the glow in the dark, and of course because there's also neon in there. But can you see what I mean with that darker colour that went in, that mixed in? How it really helps. I'm just zooming you in a little bit. I think that colour underneath is really cool actually. It glows and he's awesome. And he's glittery. I've got away with glitter. Well, she is basically a Disney princess, isn't she, a Xenamorph? But yeah, you know, Mother's Day is in the UK is just coming round, and you know, what is a Xenamorph but a mother? Oh dear me. I'm really pleased with that. Great fun. And these guys as well. I'm opting not to put those ones under. I'm a bit surprised by this one because you could see it wasn't really glowing at all. Not growing, glowing. So I was just using a torch just to see, but just the tiniest little speckles here and there, so perhaps I put in too much mica powder. So that's something to investigate again, but still I really like the colour. So there you go, my little Froggy Friday collection for this week. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you're inspired. And I hope you enjoyed playing. Love you and stay weird.
Jump around, it's Friday night. Froggy vibes feel so right. Ooh, yeah. Dance away, let's take the flight. Hop with me into the light. Moving feet, we got no care. Leap and high up in the air. Can't resist the froggy flare. Smiling wide, love everywhere. It's Froggy Friday. We dance and we hop. Oh, Froggy Friday. Yeah, never gonna stop. Catch the beat, get in line. Feel the groove, you're looking fine. Ooh yeah, hopping high, feeling divine. All around our spirits shine. In the night, we feel the beat. Froggy pulse, so sweet. Moving fast on our feet. Every leap can't be beat. It's Froggy Friday. We dance and we hop. Oh, Froggy Friday. Yeah, never gonna stop. In the night, we feel the beat. Froggy pulse, so sweet.